The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And welcome to a Carpe Omnia edition of Mick Shots. It's Giants week, and we are seizing everything this week on Mick Shots. And
so it just grab everything?
It starts with everyone in attendance for the first time
That's right.
this week.
We grabbed
It's
Everson.
the return. It's the return
This
of
is
Everson
the only
Walls.
show that means anything. Yesterday did not happen.
Okay, that's why we are Carpe Omnia today, seizing everything on this day.
Seizing everything.
Whatever you
Seize
heard
everything.
prior to
That's the
today
theme
has
for this
no
season.
merit whatsoever.
And we're getting you ready for Cowboys Giants on Sunday night. We got the former Cowboy and the former Giant Everson Walls here.
That's
We've
right.
got Mickey Spagnola.
I always forget about that.
Who has been a giant in the media community for so many decades. And
Decades.
we have football players on a football field. They're back to work today.
They're sweating.
It's time to get going here.
Fortunately, we have
sweating
a
out
wall between us and the football field, so we can't see.
So now you're complaining about the new podcast studio. Why didn't they eliminate the wall so that we
Yeah.
can see the field?
I gotta say, Spags, that would have been very cool.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, we should be looking right out at the doggone practice field.
We need a wireless mic to go out and watch practice.
Well, there are cameras everywhere, so you just need to tap into one of these cameras around the
right.
Star in Frisco and be able to watch for yourself. All right, so much to get to, so little time to get there, and Mickey.
You want to explain your everything?
Well, with Mike McCarthy at a press conference, and
Yes.
he had told the media earlier what the theme of the season would be revealed game week, and he revealed it to the team this morning. Carpe Omnia, the theme for the season.
So
Seize everything.
If you remember last year, they put a mural up on underneath the hallway, over the hallway there, where the overhang is from the first floor to the second floor, and it had a bunch of bulls running or whatever to go with their theme of the year last year. Well, there was a plastic covering over it on Monday. So I'm assuming they pulled the cord, and there's going to be a new mural there for
big
today.
reveal.
Yes, a reveal.
You could just write it in Sharpie, couldn't you? I mean,
I'm going to see.
you don't have to get so.
I want to see what the mural's going to be to explain Seize everything.
So last year it was what?
Good question. I
thought I was the only one with a mental.
Mr. Attorney, don't ask questions you don't know the answer to.
But McCarthy did say that, frankly, probably the players should speak on it, because I'll be curious how much they paid attention this morning during the team meeting.
The team meetings are earlier than usual, right? Because the heat and the
Well, they went with an earlier schedule. They went with an earlier schedule last week due to the heat, but now it's game week. It doesn't matter that the high is going to be 102 today. We're going to keep a
and
regular schedule.
105 tomorrow.
Have you watched when you called me the U.S. Open last night? And that's where the Cowboys are going to play that first game.
Yeah.
And those tennis players have been suffering for the last 2 days. And at night, by the way,
Changing
where
socks
the
and
temperature,
shoes.
changing shoes
Yeah,
because they
man.
were so wet.
Yeah.
90-degree weather with almost 60% humidity, and they can't. They're passing out towels wrapped around ice packs to put on their shoulders.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So that's
you can
what
use
they're.
that at some of these golf tournaments.
And this is a nighttime thing, right? So
And this is a night game the
8
Cowboys are
o'clock,
going to be
right?
playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what they're heading into. So they might as well just go out there and practice and start getting used to it. And they should thank the weather here in Dallas. That'll be 100 degrees again today.
Well, it's already here at just past 12 noon in Frisco. It is 95 degrees. And so it'll be 97 at 1 o'clock. That's the temperature that they're practicing in right now. And by the way,
And that's a
it
cold
just
front.
occurred to me. Wait, it just occurred to me. The theme last year was resilience.
Yeah, somebody just told him in his ear.
Resilience was the
That's
theme
right.
last
He's
year.
a genius, isn't
That's
he?
right.
It just comes to him from
That's why
somewhere.
we have producers.
I really
supreme,
don't even
Chris Beam.
remember that
I do.
resilience.
I do now.
Yeah.
I do.
Once they get knocked out of the playoffs, though, I put everything.
And they were resilient when Dak missed 5 games and went 4-1. Mm-hmm. I thought it was
right.
going to be sustainability.
this year.
Yeah, because you went 12-5, 12-5. Now, can you do it 3 years in a row?
But you want to go farther. You want to seize
I
everything.
didn't
this
say
year.
anything about going farther.
No, you're right.
That's what
they're,
gotta
they're,
sustain
not, they're
your
way
success.
beyond regular
Okay,
season.
we're beyond resilience.
Yeah.
We've proven
yeah.
our resiliency.
Yes,
Now
yes.
it's time to seize everything. We're not just seizing this day, we are seizing everything.
Do you remember the last time they've gone 3 years in a row with double-digit wins?
Well, I remember the last time they went 2 years in a row, which was the mid-'90s
Okay.
Super Bowl run.
So we have to go back to there. 93, 94, 94, 95, 96, because they won 10 games in 96.
Okay.
I'm kind of with him on that as well because you don't get tired of it. You don't take it for granted.
Right.
But, 12-5 is good. But I'd rather be the Bengals when they went how many games they lose that year?
10-7, maybe.
Yeah, and they went
Got to win in the playoffs.
Come on, man, you got to win. That's it. You got to win in the playoffs. All of that other stuff sounds good. We can peak at a particular time because I remember our podcast from the previous years where we were like, oh, okay, we got momentum going in, and all that didn't mean a damn thing in that second playoff game.
And by the way, it is right now in East Rutherford, New Jersey, 92 degrees. We've only got them by 3 degrees right now, to your point of what's happening at Flushing Meadows. And Sunday, however, there's a cool front coming through this weekend, apparently. The high on Sunday
There's
will
no
be
such thing as a cool
81
front.
degrees with a low of 72.
Well,
It's only a cold front.
Whoever-
just so you know. There's no such thing as a cool front. It's only a cold
I
front.
was thinking,
Only a cold front.
As I was walking in today, I was thinking, you know what's going to be really nice? That first cold front that comes through this fall, as hot as it's been here.
I'm looking at rain in the forecast. That makes me happy.
Yeah, and it's a 40% chance of rain on Sunday, by the way, in East Rutherford.
So the heat, 92 degrees out there, much hotter than 92 degrees here.
Well, I
humidity.
imagine the humidity is higher because those guys were suffering last night.
Seems like population has something to do with it as well.
Well,
There's more people there.
Lot
so
of
there's-
people.
It's more
A
crowd.
lot of people.
Body heat raises it.
and there's no roof on MetLife either, by the way.
That's right. That wind's going to whip around, and we'll talk Brandon Aubrey coming up here in just a little bit. But I think we need to talk Tyler Smith first.
Yes.
What's going on with Tyler Smith? Everson, I'm not sure if you're aware of this since you were out yesterday, but Tyler Smith had to leave practice on Monday.
With a tight hamstring, which Dr. Jerry called.
That's what Jerry called it.
Yeah.
I want to hear the official report.
And he kind of walked out of practice and was supposed to get an MRI yesterday. And Mike McCarthy said today that he would be limited and with Britt Brown, their rehab trainer, today, and they'd see where it would go going forward. Now, when Jerry explained it, he said after practice, when they reassessed the injury, it wasn't as serious as they originally thought, and that it shouldn't affect his game status for Sunday. So we'll see where this one goes. Because
That was the one guy on the offensive line I wasn't concerned about
right,
injury-wise.
the youngest guy, right?
That's right.
So we'll see. And I guess we can discuss potential backup guards. I don't know that they want to go there, but first of all, Chuma Edoga has played both positions, guard and tackle. I don't know how well he's played them, but he has played.
And what's his injury status?
He's back in practice
my
with
God.
pads on.
This again.
He suffered a bone bruise from a hyperextended knee. He was in practice these last couple times. So we're thinking he's available. And then after that, how they were practicing with the second team line, Awesome Richards was the left guard. But that doesn't mean he would take over because they've also have T.J. Bass, who's just been playing on the right side.
And by the way, those last two that Mickey just mentioned, those are both rookies. One a fifth-round draft pick, Awesome Richards, and one undrafted T.J. Bass.
And so this is the bed they made with the backup offensive line. So we'll see how this kind of sorts itself out. They also have used on the practice squad now Brock Hoffman, who's ostensibly the backup center, but he played some guard also. I don't think he played all that well, so I think that's why he's kind of the center. So those are their choices at this point, if indeed they have to find a guard.
And so you did not mention Sean Harlow on the practice squad.
I did.
Former New York Giant who started 3 games for the Arizona Cardinals last year.
Yeah.
Who arrived after the roster
And
cut
I think
down.
he's started, where's my note, 8 games in 33 that he's played in the league. But they still got him listed at 6'4", 285. That's a little small for my guard. But he's at least played, so you could elevate him.
Bottom line is they need to get that hamstring well.
Yeah, they may have to do it anyway to be a backup just in case, because he can back up center and guard.
Remember the good old days when the culture for this team was offensive lineman, running game.
Well, it was until they got one injury.
One injury change.
Well, that's kind of the spot. But you know what? Look around the league. Look all the other teams that are having problems with injuries, right? Who was the tight end yesterday? Got hurt.
Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league.
Yeah. And he may not play in the opener.
Tomorrow night, Kansas City and Detroit.
Probably not, huh?
By the way, Sean Harlow, you've talked about him being 285 pounds. At the Combine, he was 6'4", 303 pounds.
Well, then he shrunk.
Somebody's BS.
Or someone's using a college bio or a high school bio on him. For their
says right here 6'4", 284 that was printed yesterday.
It was printed yesterday, but we don't know where that information came from. The Combine is usually pretty accurate on. At one point in his life, he was 303 pounds.
So what bio would they have looked at?
Maybe
that
the Oregon
prior
State
to
bio.
college.
Wherever he went to high school.
Yeah.
There's in the program he was 285 pounds.
Okay.
All right. So, but
he looks 284.
On the bright side, on the offensive line, Everson, Terrence Steele, 5-year extension.
Wow.
$87 million, and that I say is the best thing that happened in the preseason and training camp. He's good to go after a multiple ligament surgery in December.
How's he look?
Looks like
Of course, we wouldn't know because they haven't played in any games, but we have seen him in practice.
He looks good. Looked good in training camp. Moving well. $50 million guaranteed.
Well, it's good you guys brought up the future because I have Nate from Frisco. It's telling me to get out of the past. So
I agree with that.
I'm not going to worry about the culture that we had. I'm going to worry about the culture that we're building.
All right.
All right? Thank you, Nate from Frisco.
And we're going to look ahead now here on Mix Shots. When we come back in a moment, I've taken a look ahead to the New York Giants. And you don't want to underestimate this team when we come back.
I am estimating.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi, and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we are back here on Mick Shots.
And we've got a big
producer, there we go.
Feedback going here.
We got an update on Sean Harlow. I pulled up his bio from Oregon State, and at one point in his life, he weighed 310 pounds. his weight is going up.
He's shrinking.
Right now he's shrinking. At one point, he was 310 pounds, and then at the combine, he was 303 or whatever I said, and now he's 285 pounds.
So
he's been out in this heat too much.
He's suggesting they went back to his high school bio.
Yeah. So
what was your high school bio?
It was about 135 pounds, probably.
Man, for real?
No.
I was going to say.
I was close.
I could see that tall and that skinny.
Mine was 125.
125.
As a sophomore.
It's one thing if you're your height and 125. It's another thing if you're 6'4".
And you're only 285, right? And I wrestled at 112, by the way.
You wrestled?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know this?
He lost at 112. He lost every wrestling match at 112.
No, I beat guys on my own team to get a shot at wrestling.
Oh, you beat those guys. You beat those guys.
How did you do against guys from other schools?
Yeah, how'd that
go? I got beat by one
everybody
in the third period. What do you mean, everybody?
Who did you beat?
At 112. 112. Yeah.
Who did you beat?
You don't have to be big. You're going to wrestle somebody that's 112.
Okay. You can find them. Can you find some people that small?
Well, they had
back then. People have gotten bigger since then.
Yeah,
there was a 105 weight class, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's shocking.
Well, you guys didn't have wrestling in high school?
You think in Texas we don't grow them that small?
Do I look like a wrestler?
Not you.
No, MacArthur. My alma mater, MacArthur. We were 9-21 in basketball ever since, but we were the state champs.
I think we beat them at Bergner even.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. All right, update on Sam Williams.
He's got a foot injury, and sounds like he was working with Britt also today. So I think it's a toe type thing, and. This has lingered for a week or so, so we'll see if he can make it. And, I think they asked Mike about Donovan Wilson, but he hasn't practiced yet in pads, so there's no way he's playing
really
Sunday.
Going through it, right? I mean,
yeah, they're being careful.
Yeah.
They understand that there's no sense rushing him back. Plus, he needs a ramp-up period. So I would imagine he misses the first, maybe even the second game before they send him out there.
He's the kind of guy that would probably hurt himself again.
Because he would go out there, right?
And just go all out.
And fly around and, not be careful. And it was that high calf injury that he suffered.
Anything else on your legal pad from McCarthy's press conference or any other news we need to get to before I throw something out here?
I think that was the highlights.
All right, the New York Giants.
That was part of his press conference, too, by the way.
Oh, they actually asked a question about the New York Giants.
They asked him if there's a chance, because the Cowboys have won 10 of the last 11 against the Giants, that they would be overlooking their division opponent.
And what was his answer to that?
He said, we are aware of it. We're aware of the success, but last year doesn't mean anything this year.
You know, if you look at last year, of course, the Cowboys finished 12-5. They beat the Giants twice.
23-16, 28-20 with a late touchdown.
The Giants finished 9-7-1 last year, and with a wild card win over Minnesota before losing in the divisional round to Philadelphia. Okay? You change the result of the Cowboys-Giants 2 games, and the Giants are 11-5-1, and the Cowboys were 10-7 last year.
What does that mean?
I know.
It
I'm
means
with you on that one.
no. It means these how important these games are.
Yeah, they're all important.
If the Cowboys don't win those 2 games against the Giants last year, it flips them in the standings, and the Cowboys are on the cusp of not making the playoffs.
Well, if the Giants hadn't gone 1-0-1 against Washington and won both of those games.
But we're talking Cowboys versus Giants.
They went 1-4-1 in the NFC East last year.
All right.
When's the last time the Giants have beaten the Cowboys?
20. I wrote it down. It was a couple of years ago.
You got your media guide right there. In the meantime, all right. What is the perception of the NFC East?
That it's
on
pretty
paper,
strong.
On paper, who's finishing first? Who's finishing second? Who's finishing third? Who's finishing fourth? What's the perception out there?
The perception is Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders.
That's right.
And the last time they lost to the Giants was the final game of the 2020 COVID season in New York, 23-19.
If the Giants played in the NFC North, who would be the favorite to win the NFC North this year?
The favorites for the NFC North.
If the Giants played in the NFC North with Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit, who would be the favorite to win the North?
Detroit.
That's what I would say.
I would say the Giants.
Because they're already the favorites to last.
They
thing
are,
I
but
saw.
Minnesota's the defending champ.
If you put the Giants in there.
Yeah.
But Minnesota, with a 13-win season last year, is the defending champ, and New York beat them in the playoffs last year. And New York, and the point is, NFC South. If the Giants are in the NFC South, who would be the favorite to win the NFC South?
Yeah, Giants.
Giants would be. And the Giants have improved markedly from last year, what they've done with their roster, too.
Well, they improved from the beginning of last year to the end of last year.
They did that, too. Yeah. That's right. Now, they did, remember the first game last year, I believe it was against Tennessee, and they went for a 2-point conversion. Brian Dable set the tone for the entire season by deciding to go for 2. They got it. They won, and
good thing. Otherwise, they'd have been 8-1.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the question. What if they didn't make the 4th and 2? Then what would their record be? That's what we need to look at.
I think they're greatly improved, and it all comes down to the step Daniel Jones took last year. Is it for real? Is this what he is going forward? Because they were ready to not offer him a contract to keep him for his 5th year.
But I think that all went along with they weren't running the ball well either.
Right.
I think the better they weren't running the ball last year, then the better he got.
And they weren't protecting him because I think they gave up the most sacks in the league last year. The Cowboys in 2 games had 8 sacks against Jones.
Well, it wasn't the most sacks in the league, but it was 49 sacks they gave up.
They did. Okay.
I know Denver gave up like 60 sacks, Russell Wilson. All right. But they shored up their offensive line.
Call the coach's name. Why would you call Russell's name? You can call the coach's name.
So
Barkley did run for 1,300 yards last year,
right.
10 touchdowns.
But not against the Cowboys.
Any game that they were successful, it was because of any game that Jones was successful is because Barkley was running the ball well.
Right. And they were 4th in the league in rushing last year, the Giants were. But they added Darren Waller at tight end.
Okay.
That's a significant upgrade, wouldn't you say?
That is.
They're starting a rookie center.
Right.
And the
second-round draft pick, John Michael Schmitz.
The other thing that stood out to me is they're starting 2 cornerbacks are rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of them, first-round pick, Deontay Banks, but Trey Hawkins III is their other starting running back.
Starting running back?
I mean, cornerback, sorry.
6th-round draft pick out of Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
So you think the Cowboys are just going to eat them up then?
Throw the ball.
See, we're getting away from that. That's how we got in trouble in the playoffs last year. We didn't run the ball enough. So I think we need to continue. Stick with the plan. Stick with the plan.
They added on their defensive line.
Yes.
Okay, they already have Dexter Lawrence, Pro Bowler last year, Leonard Williams, and they added Ashawn Robinson from the Rams, along with Raheem Nunez-Roches, who started 10 games for Tampa Bay last year. So they got a more of a rotation going on that defensive line. Kayvon Thibodeau, if you'll recall, last year when the Cowboys played them the first game of the year, it was his first game. He was coming back from an injury, and he wasn't 100% that game.
Was he 100% when they had him beaten 28-13 before that late touchdown?
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh, that was, yeah. By the way,
Point being,
who was that?
Thibodeau was the 5th
guy,
pick in the draft last year.
Who was the guy you said?
Which one?
The first one they added? Not after.
Ashawn Robinson.
No, the next one.
Raheem Nunez-Roches.
Well, how come he's not on their depth chart?
Well, maybe he's hobbled. I don't know.
Well, he's not on there too deep.
Bobby Okereke, linebacker.
Yes.
That's another guy they've added.
Is he any good?
You know who was starting for them at linebacker late in the season last year?
Jalen Smith.
That's right.
Thought he'd slip that by me.
Anyway, I agree with the coach that there's no reason to, and the premise of the question, taking this team lightly, there is no way anyone in that locker room is taking the Giants lightly.
Well, if you go and look at the video boards that have the daily schedule, at the bottom it says division game, kind of highlighted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not an easy opener, and it's an important game because it's a division game, right?
It's not just that. I mean, we talked about the NFC East about 3 years ago being like at the bottom of the NFL. And now they are not that anymore.
Was this time last year we were talking about the NFC East not being very strong.
And surprised everyone.
Exactly.
Right out of the box. Okay? So we know that is no more. The NFC East was always strong against the other opponents.
And that's the amazing thing about the NFL now, and why there is so much anticipation for this weekend and the start of games, because across the board in the league, we really have no idea what these teams are going to look like, because there's nothing to go on now. In the past, years ago, decades ago, they were playing 4 to 6 preseason games. We had a pretty good idea what the first teamers were doing, and we have no idea now across the board.
You can thank the Giants and obviously Philly for really bringing up the status
and Washington
of the NFC East.
Yeah, Washington was a 500 team last year.
They went 8-1, right?
Yep.
So
and they're going to start 1-0 this year.
Who they got?
Arizona.
Okay.
Oh God.
Is that like playing Eastern Kentucky?
Until they get their crap
I didn't say
together.
Grambling State either, by the way.
Arizona is likely starting a quarterback, Joshua Dobbs, who arrived there a week and a half ago.
Well, they cut somebody, and then
they cut Colt McCoy.
And then somebody else got hurt.
They had already signed or gotten in a trade Joshua Dobbs from Cleveland.
Okay,
and it's God,
I'm scared to ask who the backup is.
All right, we continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Experience the feeling of game day every day at Miller Lighthouse at the Star, now open just steps away from Tostitos Championship Plaza. Miller Lighthouse features a cooler full of grab-and-go beverages and snacks, tailgate games, a recharging lounge, Dallas Cowboys photo op, and complimentary concierge services. For more info, visit starinfrisco.com/Miller Lighthouse.
Miller Lite.
Sound like you need a question mark.
So
all of that.
I want to know the recharging lounge. Is that for you to regenerate your body in this heat or to plug something in?
It could serve both purposes.
Both purposes, because you could recharge yourself with a Miller Lite, right?
That's right. And Miller Lite, a proud sponsor of Mick Shots, or at least in the past they've been a proud sponsor of Mick Shots. We'll see if that continues here.
And by the way, we were talking Giants. Their 9 wins last year was the most since 2016. And it was their first playoff victory since the 2011 season.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they do that year in the playoffs?
Was that the year they beat the Cowboys in the final game of the season?
It's like they're only, outside of last year, the only 2 years that they had success in the playoffs, they won the Super Bowl those years. Are you looking it up?
No, I was just looking because I thought it came down to both teams at the end of the year, and they beat the Cowboys in the final game of the season 31-14.
Everson, tell me about the organization, the Giants, because it's well-respected. You played for the Giants. It is one of the most well-respected ownership groups going way back.
Yeah, one of the oldest teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was it like playing for the Giants?
It was about like being in Dallas under Tech Tramp, under Tom Landry. They brought a lot of that New York style, that New York attitude to the Cowboys. Very conservative in everything that they did at the time. They might have been cheaper than the Cowboys. George Young was just as tough to negotiate with against as Gil Brandt. And back then it was all about attitudes in the front office, and they had a very prickly attitude about everything. You won't get far arguing against the machine. You know what I mean? And they are going to be what they are. And I think the only exception they may have had back in those Parcells days was how they dealt with Lawrence Taylor. He was the only exception. Everyone else that they dealt with, it was pretty much status quo. It was just a tightly run ship. We're going to be conservative. Our coaches are going to be conservative, and that's just the way it was. You couldn't find any off the field issues. You couldn't find any personalities there outside of
unless it was Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, first time I went there prior to a Cowboys game, and it might have been 86 season, it wasn't 87. I'm going to say 85, 86. And so Parcells does his little deal in this big room, sits down like he's at the head of the table with all the writers and dominating the entire day. Mm-hmm. No question was a good question, right? What are you talking about? How did you write that? You know, it was almost like a sitcom, right? And so you go into the locker room, and everybody's supposed to be in the locker room, right? Except Lawrence Taylor. Mm-hmm. And he made an entrance kind of close to the time period that you could be in there, and they treated him just a little different than everybody else.
Well, I mentioned 2011. That was a Super Bowl winning season for the Giants, as was 2007. Prior to that, it was 1990. The Giants won the Super Bowl. And, Mickey, do you happen to know who led the team in interceptions that year in 1990?
Must have been Everson Walls.
He had 6 picks that year in 16
well, didn't
starts
they win
for the
the
Giants.
Super Bowl in 2007?
Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 11.
11 and 7.
And
back in 1990. And Everson also had a pick in the playoffs.
That was fun. I almost scored. God, if I was Dion, damn it, I would have been gone. I would have been gone.
By the way,
Buddy had the big tackle in that game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now that surprised everybody.
What, that you tackled?
Me too.
And if you were Dion, would you have made the tackle?
Heck no. Well, no. Dion would have just chased him down. No, that's the drama there. If I would have made that tackle according to Parcells, it was over.
Which, by the way,
and I'm glad I didn't know that at the time.
I don't know if they added it. Do they have an outdoor practice facility?
Yes. It's covered now.
It is covered.
Yeah, they have it covered.
Oh, okay. Because back then they didn't, right?
We practiced in the stadium.
Right, that's what I thought.
I mean, that's what I mean by blue collar. We practiced in the stadium. We're out there playing flag football before the home game the next day. And no one's out there sweeping anything up, no vacuuming up the turf. It's just, it's just the most exciting thing about that team was that it was next to New York City.
Well, they spent some money because I read where they got they put in a new turf in the stadium at MetLife. And they're calling for a blue out, meaning everybody's supposed to wear blue.
That doesn't have any big impact.
You think that's going to affect
White is more, because it
stands out.
It stands out, but blue,
Well, their seats are blue, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just blue. It's just blue.
That's why when they built FedEx Field, and they made the seats colored like red or gold or yellow, whatever some of them were. I thought it was to hide the fact that there was people missing. Because it looks like everything's red, right? Everybody had their jerseys on.
They should have changed to red uniforms.
I think things
and worn red.
Things are going to change there with the new ownership. By the way, they might even get them a new stadium, which that stadium's not that old.
It's
right?
not. They just got it.
It was 97, 98, somewhere in there.
Well, there was a new baseball park built here just 30 years after the last one was built.
Well,
of course, the mistake there was...
Not sure what's happening under the roof these days. Because the ball doesn't seem to stay in the stadium, or at least the playing field.
Have you fallen off the Ranger bandwagon, Everson?
No,
this
I have
summer
not.
You were...
I'm still on it. I am still on it.
By the way,
we
on
just
that topic... on that topic... No one should have expected the Rangers to win last night. Nathan Eovaldi was pitching in a game for the first time in 7 weeks.
That's how desperate they were.
He hadn't pitched. He hadn't no rehab stint, nothing.
No.
He hadn't pitched in a game since July 18th against a pitcher, Framber Valdez for the Astros, who had threw 2 no-hitters in the last month, a 9-inning no-hitter and a 7-inning no-hitter.
All he had done was bullpen sessions.
I trust the manager.
So it's all about tonight.
I trust Bochy.
It's all about tonight.
I think he has.
Scherzer versus Verlander tonight.
Nice.
You like
Be
that
nice
one?
if we could all watch it on TV.
Why can't we?
I can.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't.
I don't have it either at home, but I watch it at work.
Oh.
That was a Valley Sports comment.
I am going to watch it somewhere. Can't I? Can I watch it?
You have to go somewhere, maybe.
Okay.
You know what I've done? I going old school. Listen on the radio.
Yeah.
I can't.
Imagine that. Mickey's got old school. Who would have thought?
Do you still have like the big satellite out in front of your house?
Do what?
You know the big satellite
Big
dish?
satellite dish.
I've never had one.
No, if he had that, he'd have DirecTV
I'd have
and he'd be
it,
able to
yes.
get Valley Sports.
That's right.
All right. Our final couple of minutes here of mix shots.
And by the way,
we need a mix shot. Was that your mix shot?
Yeah, it was.
Too late.
By the way, we're John Schmelk's going to join us tomorrow, give us an update on the Giants.
Okay.
So we can look forward to that in our
Because
final.
clearly what I said about the Giants today didn't impress either one of you.
We want somebody that actually knows if they practiced outdoors or they were practicing under a roof because of the oppressive heat in New York City. And we'll find out about that guy that you mentioned I can't find
Raheem
on their depth
Nunez
chart.
Roches.
Yeah.
Okay. If you let me ask you this.
Roches.
What is it that you most want in our last couple of minutes? What is it you're looking forward to most from the Cowboys on Sunday night, seeing on that field? Whether it's an individual player.
I want to see this offense get off to a faster start than they did last year, if you remember the season opener. They scored all of 3 points in the season opener against Tampa Bay, that they ended up scoring all those points against them the year before. And since they've added some new dimensions to the offense, to see if it is as dynamic as it was in almost every game last year that Dak Prescott played, except for the first one, the last one, and the second playoff game.
That seems to be accurate.
What are you looking forward to, Everson?
I am looking forward to them stop adhering to the narratives. You know, I think they need to realize that there's no one out there more important than who's in that locker room. And there are times when they come play a game that they don't trust each other. I hope that they come into each game, how can I say, feeling like it's them against the world. Because it really is. You can talk about all the fans you have out here. Some of your own Cowboy fans don't even trust you. And I think they need to have more trust in themselves. As long as they trust themselves all season long, I feel better about them.
Well, look who's there. It was backup defensive
I was sitting there.
nose tackle.
I've been searching for what's going on with
That's
Raheem
that's his
Nunez
name.
Roches. Mickey says he's not on the depth chart. I was like, is there an injury? What's going on? And so I'm doing all this search on the internet trying to
explain
find
to
an
me-
injury on Raheem Nunez Roches.
No, wait.
So you
on
always
the
have to
depth chart.
consider the source is what
Exactly.
you're saying.
No, you know what it is?
If the source can't be trusted,
If
You know what?
everybody else's
his name is so long that it's in a smaller
it's
type.
smaller type. It's like in 6 point. It looks
but
like a box
that
score.
should catch your eye as well,
No, it
sir.
didn't. I just saw Ashawn Robinson. I started there with the big names.
It's a little smaller font size.
Yeah.
Well, that mystery is solved. Thank you, Spade.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, I spent all morning looking at the Giants, and I had all this stuff built up, and then he throws me this curveball.
We don't have time to cover his ass.
He
every
gives me
show.
this curveball that Raheem Nunez Roches isn't even on their depth chart.
I just scanned it, and
I don't see him.
it was like the pitcher in the box
there.
score.
Right there.
Right,
All
where we expected him to be,
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, he's in that rotation on the
Thank
defensive
God
line.
we got to the bottom of that.
Okay.
And no one still cares.
I figured they don't even think he's important. They put it in such small type.
He is not.
He was one of their big free agent signings.
Well, why is he backup?
Well, because they do a rotation, just like the Cowboys. Why did the Cowboys make Mozzie Smith their first-round draft pick? And
he's not ready.
He's not starting, is he?
No, he's
That's
not
right,
ready.
but he is going to play.
They do have Jihad Ward.
Yes, they do.
Recognize that name?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. At the University of Illinois. All right.
By way of the Cowboys.
There you go. All right. We will see you again maybe tomorrow here on Mick Shots at high noon.
You think our practice part is over with?
They're going to cancel this show. That's what they're going to do. Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?